everybody, welcome to the Bad Reading Podcast. My name is Atlas Novak with the quarantine mask on and off. Here with us today is my co-host via Skype.
Hello, I'm Chris. I'm, again, unfortunately stuck at home because I still don't have a mask, but I will get one.
It'll
I
be
promise.
next week. And our
Next
guest
week I'll
today
have one,
is
yeah.
somebody that I've known longer than any other comedian you've formerly seen all over the country because we're all grounded. Please welcome Lang Parker, everybody, in the ninja mask.
Woo-hoo. Well, you know, I have really bad breath, so I figured I'm going to save everyone right now.
Not only am I preventing the spread of disease, I've also preventing you from halitosis.
Right, exactly. Oh, my God. Yeah.
Is it because of tonsil stones?
No,
I know my brother
I'm
gets
just
those.
joking. I don't really have bad breath, I don't think. No.
I have a bad sense of smell,
Okay.
so I don't
Oh,
know.
excellent.
Yeah. No, that's what annoyed me so much about like this disease is there's no like real scarlet letter to it. It's all just kind of vaguely defined. And then there was that press release where they're like, hey, an early symptom of it is like a loss of sense of smell. I'm like, okay, that's not helping, you know?
Right.
Because already, like, I'm half expecting them to just name things that I already kind of deal with and get more and more specific over time. So, like, an early sign of coronavirus is you hate the movie Ad Astra.
I was on the editing floor with that one.
Really?
Yes, I played Brad Pitt's mother in a flashback.
Wow.
And guess
No
who's on
way.
the editing floor? I'm so pissed. I'm
wow.
like, really? I mean, I could have got to brag.
Yeah.
I mean, I still do. I can brag about it, but there's no really proof of it. I'm like, I can show you my call sheet. I can show you all that, but yeah, it was Brad Pitt's mother. Good times, people, and she's on the floor. That's where the career is. Yep.
Am I allowed to rag on it, or?
Sure.
Okay, so that whole movie is something, like, it keeps hinting to stuff that I'm more interested than the actual movie. Why are there moon pirates?
Right. Yes, no, I get it.
I don't care about this, like, I want to go find my dad. Fuck that. Why are there moon pirates?
Exactly.
You know?
Right. What did you feel about Brad's acting in it?
It was good acting, but I didn't like how they defined his character where he looked bored.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I thought it was one of his best of being still as an actor.
Yeah.
Because usually he's crazy, wacky, whatever.
Yeah.
I just thought he was excellent at being still. I bought it. I was like, yeah, okay, this is good.
I bought it, but I didn't want the product in the first place.
Okay. Oh, I got it. I
like
could follow this.
Waiting in line at the DMV.
That's fair.
Did you see Ad Astra, Chris?
I have not, but I understand the sentiment of I didn't want this in the first place, and now I'm watching it, and
Right.
I can't
Meanwhile,
stop.
I'm the guy who saw Little Women in theaters 3 times. So what do I know?
Jesus Christ. That I hated. I
hated Little Women.
I hated it. I didn't get it. There was too much trying to fit in. I wanted to take the DVD and snap it in half. I
Wow.
couldn't stand it. Drove me nuts.
I mean, my two gripes were Emma Watson couldn't really do the American accent very well, and why is Bob Odenkirk the dad?
Oh,
They're like, hey, we got Mr. Show here. What are you doing, man? I can't. It completely ruined my immersion, but otherwise, I just enjoyed it for what it was. Anyway, so
that's like how I feel about Venom, where it's like objectively
What?
not the best movie, but I really
Tom
like
Hardy
it,
one.
and I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
maybe.
How many
Yeah,
times
yeah,
did you
the
see
Tom
that
Hardy
in
one.
theaters?
I think I only saw it
My
twice
ass.
in theaters.
Didn't you see
Maybe
it like
3 times.
17 times?
Why would
No,
you
I
not
did
want
not
to
see
see
it
Tom Hardy
17
17 times? Please. Jesus. Mary
Fair.
Joseph, that dude is on.
He is
Oh,
a
God.
beautiful man, and he is shirtless in a fair few like glimpses, and then who doesn't want a romance between an alien and a dude? I mean, come on, that's essentially what the movie boiled down to.
Tom Hardy. I was born in it, molded by it. I did not see Venom until I was already a man. I should have just put the bandana on.
Exactly.
Perfect. Anyway, so
Yeah.
Today on Bad Reading, we like to ask our guest, Lang, what are you into?
The Ozark.
The place or the TV show?
The TV show. Or do you want me something else? What am I into? Food? What? I mean, what? You name it. What?
No. That works. Ozark, the Netflix show.
It's excellent.
Starring Jason Bateman.
Yes.
And Laura Linney. You finished all 3 seasons, right?
All right, this is the deal. Because each one comes out with anything, Handmaid's Tale,
Yeah.
that Mrs. Maisel, I got to rewatch everything from the beginning because I don't remember.
Yeah.
Who remembers this shit? Because there's such long gaps.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I watched first season, and then when second season came out, I watched the first and the second. And then the third, I had to go back and watch the first, second, and third. But I love it.
How come that doesn't happen with like regular TV shows? Where when it was on network TV, we didn't have to go, wait, I got to go back and rewatch it.
Because you didn't have the option to.
Was it is there a quicker turnaround time too?
There's a quicker turnaround time because this is way too long.
Yeah.
It's only like isn't it like, it finishes in January and then it starts up in fall. So it's only 3 or 4. Yeah.
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 I think they're filming another thing.
Oh, okay.
At least I think so. I'm not sure exactly how it works because I've never been part of a TV program production team.
So is Handmaid's Tale done and they're just editing and finishing it up, or what's?
I think they do all of the. I think in those ones they film all in chunks and they edit in chunks, and that's why you get all of it at once.
Yeah.
And that's their business model, because then you stream it all, and maybe they're counting on people not remembering and streaming it all again.
Oh, feeble mind here has to sit there and repeat, and they must love me, even though they're not making a dime because my Netflix is free.
Yeah.
Who's paying for it?
And then there's all the ads that are being blocked by my ad blocker. It's just how it is, man. I really like the show. It almost feels like it gets compared to Breaking Bad a lot.
Yeah.
That's how I pitch it to people. I'm like, Breaking Bad, but with laundering money instead of meth. But it's also opposite in a lot of ways, where Breaking Bad is a lot of washed out colors, like yellows and browns, and then Ozark
is way blue, gray,
and greens.
Yeah, it's and also my problem with the show is that it feels like it always takes place at 6:45 p.m.
It kind of does, yeah.
Even when it's early in the morning, you see the sunrise, and I'm like, it's late in the day. It has to be.
There was a scene in the third season where the old man and the woman were sitting outside, or was it the second season? Second season? Anyway, the old man.
Which one?
At the house.
The Snells?
Not the Snells, the other one. Buddy.
Buddy, yeah.
Buddy and the wife was, and what's her name? Linny.
Yeah, Wendy.
Yeah. Was sitting outside, and they were having a cocktail, and it was in the dark. It was at night, and it's in a woodsy area, and I'm thinking, where are you that you are not getting eaten alive by mosquitoes?
Yes!
There's no way.
Right next to the river, where there are going to be mosquitoes everywhere.
It's the first thing. I didn't even listen to the dialogue. I had to go back and rewatch it because I was so complex there, into it, going, there's no mosquitoes? I'd be getting eaten alive. So, it's very frustrating. Yes, I look at weird things and...
No.
No, that's not at all.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah. Now we can see her. For the YouTube people, you were just looking at her the whole time. But that's how that works over here at Third Wheel. So the story we have today is called "Topic of Conversation" by Zenny Zoot Suits on archiveofourown.org. As always, we'll put the link to the story in the description so you can find it for yourself if you like, and also give the artist credit. So the summary is: Marty Byrde laundered money for a particularly brutal Mexican drug cartel. Precious Little surprised him more. And then there's another note by the author that says, I spent a year waiting for someone to write something like this, so eventually I decided to write it myself. In parentheses, come on now, at least some of you were thinking it with me. Don't mind the perhaps more than slightly out-of-canon characters.
Out of character.
That's what that stands for?
OOC means out of character.
Fuck. Okay. OOC is out of character. Good job, Atlas. I'm aware Marty says in canon that he never cheated on his wife, and I considered that. However, I wanted to write smut, not pre-slash. I am also aware that their arrangement is a god-awful idea that would never work in real life. Again, creative license. And several ends. I wrote this and posted it the same night, so all the mistakes are mine. Smiley face. Enjoy. Okay, here we go. Do you like men, Marty? Martin Bird laundered money for a particularly brutal drug cartel. Precious little surprised him these days. While on these trips, Dell invited him, his wife, and his wife on to one of his numerous resorts. He had learned to anticipate the odd conversations Dell was so fond of. That question, however, he had not been expecting. I beg your pardon? Dell took a sip of his whiskey. Do you like men? He asked it so casually, as if he were asking instead if Marty was going to the store tomorrow. He chuckled nervously. I'm sorry, I'm not gay. I didn't ask if you were gay, Marty. I asked if you like men.
It sounds like you're doing an Irish accent.
God damn it! Okay.
Think drugs, drug, cartel.
Yeah. Meaning what, exactly?
Exactly. I have no idea, but not Irish.
I can do a really good Irish accent. It's just everything else eventually devolves into the Irish accent. So, thanks. I miss Nick. Okay. So there's a part here that's supposed to be like his inner thoughts. I'm trying to think of a way to do that makes it sound like his thoughts.
You could just do, I don't know, actually. You can make it sound ridiculous. Okay, sure, difference there,
Or whisper
okay.
it.
Okay.
Lighter.
Oh, yeah, or
Okay,
whisper,
sure.
yeah.
Difference there. Okay. I'm happily married to a woman, as am I. But you still haven't answered my question.
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
What the hell was he getting at? I'm afraid I don't understand. Dell sighed, a hint of impatience in his voice. Because I do. Like men, that is. And I'm just curious. Marty blinked. Dell regarded him calmly. I can see the fear in your eyes behind the mask.
I'm just listening.
Okay. If my question makes you uncomfortable, you don't need to answer it. Dell rarely asked a question just to ask it. There was always some sort of game, some sort of test. Marty shrugged. I had my dealings with a few men back in college. But if Dell was asking him, then he already knew that now, didn't he?
I have a question for you, Alice. Is that actually how it works in college? Like, do you guys have experiences with other dudes in college? Is that a normal thing?
We do not go through a gay phase in college. That's not how that works.
Just an hour. Just usually an hour.
No.
Not saying it's a phase. It's just like, people experiment before they know exactly what it is that they want.
I don't know. I roomed with a gay guy my sophomore year, and he seemed pretty sure of himself when we were freshmen in the same dorm.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, but not everyone is at the same stage of development when they enter college. I looked like a 14-year-old when I entered college.
Still do. Okay. That's a compliment, by the way. It's a compliment.
It'll come in handy later, believe me.
Right?
I do appreciate that.
Anytime.
Yeah. No, we don't go through a gay phase just to see what it was like. I don't think.
It's again not a phase, just experimenting, exploring yourselves. No,
I did when I was like 12, 13, briefly, and then I'm like, no, not for me. Not in college.
I feel like it happens earlier for girls than guys.
No,
that's why I was asking. Like in college,
all the time.
All at the same time.
I mean, I get mistaken for that, but yeah, no.
Is it the hair?
I just shaved my head, so maybe that has something to do with it. That's not helping the situation of attracting men, but oh well, like I can do anything about it now.
I mean, I shaved mine a few weeks ago. It's starting to grow back, but it's that's kind of all you can do while we're stuck in the core,
I've always wanted to shave my head, so I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
Do it.
It looks bomb.
Thank you. I've been told I got a good shaped egg, so that's why I also did it. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. It's
Yeah, not everyone can pull it off. It looks like from underneath the mask, you got the cheekbones for it because you got to have the cheekbones if you're going to shave your
Right,
head. Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
you're welcome.
I never thought on Bad Radio it would be like, your cheekbones are bomb, dog. That's
There's always time for something new.
always time for cheekbones.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Marty drained the rest of his whiskey and set the glass down on the table between them before looking his boss in the eye. If I may, you may. It's not like you to dabble in roundabout bullshit. Dell smirked and took one sip of whiskey before he too set his glass down on the table. You're right, it's not.
Oh, God. This is going to get interesting. I can feel it.
If Marty hadn't been expecting his boss to ask him if he liked men, then he certainly hadn't been expecting him to rise smoothly from his chair, stroll around the table, gracefully straddle his lap, and kiss the breath out of him.
Oh,
Never once breaking eye contact.
that's creepy. Too much eye contact is always creepy. I don't care what anybody says.
I remember...
You know, when you're getting done by a dude or a woman, whatever your choice is, and they're staring at you too much and too much eye contact, it's creepy. Look away. Look away.
Close your eyes, something.
Right. You can
eyes,
glimpse, you don't have to blink,
you know?
smile, or
Yeah.
whatever, but don't be staring long
Yeah.
time. That's, nope.
The,
That's what the pillow's for. Sorry.
I dated somebody in high school who would kiss like that. She would kiss and just have her eyes open the whole time. You're like...
Oh no!
And the only reason I was able to find that out, it took me 2 months to figure it out because my eyes were closed like a sane person. But there was one time where like I heard a sound and I opened my eyes. I'm like, wait, were your eyes open the whole time? She's like, yeah, this is what you do, right? I'm like, it's not. Like if there's any Costanzian reason to break up with somebody, that was it for me. That was you know she's an eye kisser or something like that. I don't know what to call her, but.
An open eye kisser.
Or the one eye kisser, because when you're that close, your eyes melt together to make one big one, don't they? So maybe she's the one eye kisser? I don't know. It's creepy, whatever it is.
Wait, so does that mean that it wasn't a Cyclops in the Odyssey? Odysseus was just making out with this giant and the eyes melded into one. And he was like, my name's Nobody. And that's how that story happened.
Hello.
Yeah.
I just pulled the curtain
man.
back, bitches. Okay.
On
Thank you. Thank
several
you very much.
thousand-year-old story. Can't wait for the Odyssey episode. That's going to be a fun one.
Oh my god, it will be.
Okay. And damn, the man could kiss.
Oh, Jesus.
Marty found himself unconsciously returning it. In parentheses, yes, that's right. He couldn't help but kiss his boss back. His drug-dealing cartel boss.
I feel like anyone, if somebody is like eye contact staring at them and like walking around the table, they have plenty of time to get up and be like, hey, this is a little weird. I would like out of this situation.
I feel like if it's Ozark, Marty doesn't really have the authority to be like, hey, can you back off, please? Like,
I mean, hasn't there... Go ahead.
I guess.
Hasn't there been so many times where you just want to shake the shit out of Marty and go, would you just stand up for yourself and yell at somebody?
I mean,
He's always so calm,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I really admire that, but it also frustrates the shit out of me.
the one time you see him do it is at the very beginning where he's taking all the money out of the bank. And he's like, if I want to take my money,
Yes.
put it in a vault, get naked, and play Scrooge McDuck, that is my authority. Now put it in the bag.
That was, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, like,
I wanted to see more
too.
of
Me
that.
too.
okay, I looked everywhere for Arrested Development / Ozark crossover because Jason Bateman's in both shows.
I wanted that so
I could not
bad.
find anything.
Really?
Yeah. Because this show somehow is different. Like, we've done a Breaking Bad episode of this show. And, like, Breaking Bad was always kind of a little absurd because you have a chaotic force like Jesse in it so that you can do wacky shit. Ozark, everything is so subdued. Everyone's kind of like a lot of double speak, a lot of... When someone gets killed, it is like a jump. You know, like when they... spoilers for the entire show, by the way. That
Yeah.
should have happened first. Like when they kill Dell, or when Jacob kills Ash with the fireplace poker.
Mm-hmm.
It always like kind of gets the drop on you.
You never see it coming. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is you always feel something is going to happen. You just don't know when the shoe's going to drop.
Yeah.
And when it does finally drop, you still are shocked going, oh, my God. So wait till you get to the third. You're going to shit yourself. I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, because I only got most of the way through season 2 by the time we recorded this. But it kind of annoys me that, like, these villains that you're supposed to, like, oh, God, what are they going to do? Everyone keeps getting killed off. So it kind of feels like the old lady who swallowed the fly. There's always a bigger fish, but by, like, the fourth one, I'm like, okay, there's a megalodon coming, then it's going to be the Cyclops from the Odyssey, then it's going to...
See, I like that, though.
And it's going to be Poseidon.
I like it because it keeps you on edge, and I don't know, it does, you don't get, I don't know what it is. It reminded me of, I told you, the Sons of Anarchy, where they killed Opie right away, and you're like, what? That was my favorite character. How could you kill somebody like that? But then after a while, it was just like left and right. All these characters were getting pegged off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just still waiting for one of the family members to get pegged off in Ozark.
Yeah. I always think of that episode of Family Guy where they do the Star Wars parody. And he's like, look, we got 4 or 5 of the main characters on this ship. I think we'll be fine. That's all I think of is stuff like that, where I'm like, they're probably not going to kill someone off. Unless...
I'm surprised. You know when with the whole preacher stuff, when they were complaining to Marty about their distribution chain being disrupted, why did they go for the preacher's wife when it was ultimately Marty's fault? Like, I expected them to go after one of Marty's family first, since the preacher hadn't been, like, threatened directly with, like, bodily harm to his wife. She just disappeared on him. Like, he didn't get a chance to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to work for you because you're going to, like, kill my wife. So it was only Marty that knew that his wife was going to die. So I was a little unclear about why they immediately went after his wife and not one of, like, Marty's family members.
I think
that tends to come up, like, you know how you hear the thing about, like, a boy is cheating on a girl, so the girl goes after the girl he's cheating with, not her boyfriend?
Say that one more time.
Okay.
I didn't follow you. So
All
you got a boy. All right, yeah.
Boy and girl.
Yep.
Boy is cheating on girl with another girl.
Yep.
Girl, instead of punishing her boyfriend, who is cheating on her, she goes after the one he's cheating with.
I've never understood that.
It's the same, like, thing. It's the same logic. I don't understand.
Good analogy.
I don't get that, because I would just punch the boy and be like, we're done. Bye.
I'm like, because he was cheating. Why are you going after the person he was cheating with? The guy's an asshole.
Exactly. Yeah, the girl he's cheating with probably doesn't know.
Exactly.
How would she? Like, okay, I got cheated on, and
sorry,
it's okay. Long story that will eventually come out over the episodes over time. But
bring me back on. I'll talk about mine because he's a dick.
Yeah. So I got cheated on, and how I found out was the guy she was cheating on me with saw our pictures on Facebook, and then he came to me and was like, hey, are you dating this girl? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I have some bad news for you. I, too, am dating that girl. And I was like, shit. It was like when 2 guys wear the same shirt to work, and you're like,
what an analogy.
Someone's going to have to change, you know. But, like, I didn't get mad at the guy. How was he supposed to know?
Right.
You know, so I immediately turned around, broke up with her, etc. But just, like, I owe the guy a beer for seeing that, and instead of going, I'll just let the other shoe drop, he came to me and was like, hey, we're both getting screwed over here.
But you realize that a lot of guys in your situation would get all puffed up and beat the shit out of that guy, and it's like, it was your girlfriend that was cheating.
Yeah.
So maybe you should not beat the shit out of her, but go later.
Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't fight over anybody. You want that person? Please. Thank you. Go ahead, because you just saved me a lot of heartache and money.
Yeah. Saved me a lot of heartache and money. Reasons one of several why Atlas doesn't want to have kids.
My eggs are powder. That's the reason why I don't.
Yeah. I scheduled a vasectomy.
Wow.
Yeah. Before the quarantine. I scheduled it back in January for April. And my job right now, I work in an eye doctor's office, is if you have to go to the doctor for any reason, you have to bring back a note explaining that you're okay to work for any reason. So when I told told HR that I was going to this doctor's appointment this month. I didn't really know what to tell them.
I'm getting snipped.
Yeah. Why are you going to the doctor?
Well,
Future planning.
Family planning.
What am I supposed to tell the doctor, too? I get there, I'm like, hey, I need a note so I can go back to work. Because we cut your vas deferens? What do you need the note for? I was just write the fucking note, please.
wow. And how old are you again?
26.
And boy, that's incredible. That's smart.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, sleep and money. Too nice to give up.
Wow, you got that right. Here.
With a generous amount of effort, he pulled back and broke it. Del kissed him again.
Oh.
One hand on his jaw and the other arm wrapped around his neck.
Oh.
And as cheesy as it sounds, that's a phrase in the story. And as cheesy as it sounds, Marty, honest to God, saw stars.
That sounds like he got punched in the face.
Exactly, or he got choked out.
Because it's other arm wrapped around his neck, right?
Exactly. He tapped him out. He saw stars. He cut there's a main artery right here. That's why he saw stars.
Yeah,
he got
and then he raped him. Awesome. This is a great story.
Yes, the man could kiss, and to his surprise, Marty was fine with that. It's not rape anymore, is it?
Oh, no, it's not.
A thought of his and Dell's wives briefly crossed his mind, but were quickly extinguished by the solid weight of the man in his lap, tongue in his mouth, and half-hard cock against his stomach.
I wish.
Nope.
Chris, I'm so sorry. We agreed we wouldn't do smut again, but...
Nope.
He had absolutely no idea what to do with his hands. Was he even allowed to touch the other man? Maybe, maybe not. But it seemed like an odd thing to just leave his hands on the armrests of the chair, considering Dell was in fact in his lap making out with him. So he settled for wrapping his arms around the other man's back, at the very least, so he wouldn't fall. Dell broke off again and said in a slightly more accented voice than normal, "Fuck you, I have to say this."
What a giver.
Yeah. Stop thinking. Before that sounded British. Fuck.
Yeah, that sounded British. Yeah.
I'm moving on. Screw it. Before going right back to shoving his tongue down Marty's throat. Well, it seemed like this was in fact happening. Marty was not nearly drunk enough for this. Fuck it. I'm gonna pass it on to you, Chris. Enjoy.
We promised no smut. All right. Bruce may have enjoyed calling him a prude who liked nothing but vanilla ass missionary sex anymore, but he could actually be quite creative when he wanted to be. So if he was going to make out / have sex / go with whatever the fuck this was going, he was going to fucking go all out.
They put slashes in? Just...
Yes, actual the slashes.
Wow, okay. I'll have to note that one next time. Okay. Go ahead, continue.
I mean, didn't it confirm that Marty was pretty vanilla in bed in the show?
Yeah, because the wife was having the affair and got slapped by that guy in the rear end, and when Marty, because you could see he was uncomfortable slapping his wife's ass, he's like, "Okay, I guess this is what she likes."
Yeah.
He's vanilla. I'm out.
Yeah, so
Sorry,
I don't
I'm
think
out.
this.
Jason Bateman looks vanilla.
I still would go out with him.
He looks vanilla. He looks like the type of vanilla though that's hiding chocolate underneath.
Oh, good one. Good one. Yes.
That's good.
Like a what do you call it? A chocolate M&M, a peanut M&M, chocolate on the outside, inside peanut.
Yeah.
Vanilla, whatever. Yeah. I'm going with it. I don't care, people.
Yeah, sure. The I don't know, I wish Jason Bateman would... He's really good in drama. Because I mostly see him in comedy stuff. Dodgeball and Arrested.
Did you see Game Night?
Man in
I
comedy.
did. I fucking loved Game
loved
Night.
it. It's just... It's excellent. I love him. I think he's great.
He does do a good straight man. You're right.
And great director.
Yeah.
Great director.
Because he directed
definitely.
a lot of this show, didn't he?
Yep, and a few other movies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very talented.
Wasn't he also on Little House on the Prairie when he was a kid too?
Yes, and Silver Spoons.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. He just was on NPR. That's why I know this.
National Public
okay.
Radio. Dude, the sound, the way of talking that NPR does makes my hair stand on end. That one and like from the
Really?
New York Times, I'm Michael Barbaro. Like, yeah.
I'm Margaret Carrero. That's the way she sounds every time. Drives me nuts. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
No worries.
Who is slapping whose ass now? Go back to that. Go back to the smut, because this is the closest I'm going to get to sex right now, okay?
Wow.
Let's do this. This is good.
He briefly considered that he might very well get his throat slit for this. That thought, too, was extinguished by an insistent grind of Dell's hips against his. So, yes, that is, in fact, how he ended up sucking a hickey into Dell's collarbone with his hand down the back of the other man's pants, grinding his boss's cock into his stomach. The soft pants and occasional appreciative hum coming from the other man were not making him look at this situation with any more... Wait, look at this. This sentence is written very strangely. Making him look at this situation any more with his upstairs brain than with his downstairs brain. Yep, that's what it says. He licked a stripe up the side of Dell's neck. That, again, that sounds like now he is a lizard monster.
I'll go with it.
And resumed... I guess.
Okay, go ahead. Yep.
And resumed their vigorous makeout session, which the other man seemed to appreciate, if him shrugging his suit jacket, untucking Marty's shirt, and shoving his hands up it were anything to go by. He stopped him there. Wait here, Dell? He gestured around the very open lounge. You think too much. Marty broke off the kiss that Dell initiated. That's what you pay me to do, to think too much. Dell huffed a laugh. And that's how Marty ended up with Camino del Rio's hand down the front of his pants.
God bless America.
You know what the worst part is? You skipped over the fact that it said Camino del Rio's hand down his fucking pants.
I did. My brain is now auto-cleaning things for me after that last episode.
I mean, well, at the time of recording this, we recorded the Incredibles episode like a month ago. It's just that it happened to come out the Friday that we're recording this. So
and I listened to it, and it was just all of the...
all of the gross. That seems to happen about once a month or so. We just get something that's utterly disgusting.
No pun intended. Once a month.
Yeah.
That was for her now.
No. I got it. It's a period joke.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
good.
you. But I'm bumped.
Yeah.
All right. I'm here all 20 more minutes.
Yeah. Rim shot.
Stop thinking so much. He punctuated each word with a stroke of his hand. What a picture they must have made. Marty, hair disheveled, shirt untucked, half pushed up, mouth kiss-bitten, both hands now groping his boss's ass and grinding his boss's cock into his thighs, and Dell, shirt partially unbuttoned, pants half open, at least 2 red marks on his throat and collarbone that may or may not blossom into decent-sized hickeys, his hand down the front of Marty's pants. I would like another part of like another viewpoint of this fic of like both of their wives seeing this and then just being turned on by it and just being totally down with it.
The person that's standing in the window watching this go down, absolutely.
Buddy.
The maid that usually cleans up after Dell, you know? Yeah. I want the maid to kind of peek through the door and go, oh, whatever.
And just like be like, accidentally, just I need to be cleaning here at the moment.
And then she bends over with her little skirt on, and you can see a little ass cheek. Yeah, let's go there, people.
Are you actively enjoying this?
I kind of am.
Wow.
It's been a while, people. It's been a while.
This might be a new milestone for bad rating. So the last major one was Peter Stovall bringing in something that he actively hated to see it ruined. Now we have a smut story that turns the guest on.
Needless to say, Dell looking him dead in the eye oh god, it's another looking in the eye thing. Looking him dead in the eye while jerking him off was really fucking hot. Apparently Marty likes this.
What, looking people in the eyes way too intensely?
And jerked off.
I mean, that does track for Dell, right? His character. Being kind of creepy.
Creepy, yes. Yeah, that guy really. I think of all the villains that I've seen so far, he's the one who scares me the most.
Dell?
Agreed. Dell, yeah,
No,
the first
I
one.
thought it was
No.
the redneck, the whatever is I forget-
Snell?
Oh,
Yeah,
Snell.
Snell
Yeah.
was a little more sympathetic. Darlene scares me.
Yeah, Darlene and Snell, both of them just
Yeah. Actually, which one is the Snell? Because they're both with the last name.
They're both Snells.
Yeah.
Now.
Because like one could have taken the other's name, and
I'm assuming that she took his name, considering where they're
Sure.
from.
Part of me is thinking, what if incest?
Ew.
Maybe.
I mean, they might have
Yeah.
been cousins. That's a thing that happens.
So here's the question to you both: which is worse, redneck or hillbilly?
Don't know the difference.
I also
California
don't
boy,
really.
sorry.
I
That's
mean,
all right. I'm from Wisconsin, so well, redneck I think is more uneducated, dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not giving my definition of rednecks. I'm just don't get all up in your
Okay.
art because people
Yeah.
are gonna get all tweaked out. I think a redneck is like dumb, and dumb, but then hillbilly is more inbred and evil. There's the better words for this. I gotta get this.
Conniving, maybe?
Yeah,
or
there's
clever.
that. They're just
Okay.
really. Oh, they're just wrong, man.
Yeah. Well, because like the Snells aren't dumb.
No, they're not.
The-
That
No.
puts
Yeah.
that off. So maybe it isn't.
Well, that would make them hillbillies because they're very well, like they control their environment pretty well.
Yeah,
And
they
like
do.
that's a major
Yeah.
theme of the show is Marty just not knowing how the Ozarks works as
Right.
a place to live, and that's why he keeps
There's an archy going on.
getting his ass kicked by, like early in the show.
first Ruth, and
Yeah.
then
Right?
it just evolved
Yeah.
from there.
Like they're pretty much all the characters on this show are extremely clever.
I want to know. Then I
Yeah.
want to know the definition. What is it? There has to be a dictionary definition of redneck and hillbilly.
It's time for Google
Thank you.
Foo.
Let's break this down.
Redneck and
Because the reason I say that is the redneck that ended up dying. He was the stripper owner, the club owner.
yeah,
He just wasn't that bright.
Oh yeah,
I mean, yeah, he was running a business,
No.
but he just seemed dumb. He was like wasn't on it. And then the hillbilly Snells, they
Okay.
just okay. Please go ahead.
according to Vice.com, at their simplest, a redneck originally meant someone who has been sunburned from working outdoors, and a hillbilly is someone who lives in the hills. But the meanings have twisted over time. When union miners fought the industry that was exploiting them in the early 20th century, they repeatedly wore red bandanas on their necks to identify themselves. Today, many proudly self-identify as rednecks not as a nod to that rebellion, but to link themselves to a set of cultural and political markers, an entire philosophy of living.
Okay.
Interesting.
okay.
But official histories of these terms always fail to convey the shades of meaning they take on.
Of course.
Okay, I'm not gonna read this whole thing, but I guess maybe it's like where you are and what you
Perhaps. According to Grammarist.com, redneck is a term that can act as a noun or an adjective, and it is a stereotype of a white person from the United States, usually
South.
from the South in a small
Yep.
town. This person is uneducated with outdated or discriminatory
Okay.
views. Whereas
Go ahead.
a hick is a synonym for redneck, but does not have the same specific locale attached to it. So it can be used to describe anyone from a small town
do.
anywhere.
There are California hicks.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, one time Chris and I went up to like I forgot the name of the town.
Oh, yeah. Fraser Park.
California, and there was a guy with a Confederate flag on the outside of his house.
Yeah, and I was like, do you know where you are?
Yeah, California, I don't think was part of the Union during the Civil. Like, it wasn't a state yet.
All right. But
No.
what does it say on there for hillbilly?
Hillbilly is also a synonym, Billy being a nickname for William. A small town person was a Billy from the hills.
I wonder-
So, according to this, they're all interchangeable. But
That's annoying. That
yeah, it's there. I want actual definitions about how they're different.
Exactly.
But
What about? Isn't there another another thing on the internet where you can? It's not WikiLeaks. It's
Wikipedia or
No. It.
Urban Dictionary.
Yes, that's it. Urban Dictionary. Thank you. Jesus Christ, this is awful. Sorry, I need coffee.
No worries.
It's the quarantine.
Which do you want to look up,
I'll look
Atlas?
up
look up-
hillbilly. You do redneck.
Okay.
Okay, so according to Urban Dictionary, hillbilly often uses an insult and racial slur against white folks who live in the country. A hillbilly is a person who lives in a remote rural area in the South, often in the Appalachian or sometimes Ozark mountains,
Thank you.
and therefore is isolated and somewhat out of touch with modern culture. There's a lot more to that, but I'll just leave it at that. What do you got for redneck?
It says top definition redneck. You would be a redneck if, you would need one more hole punched in your card to get a freebie at the House of Tattoos.
Are you just reading Jeff Foxworthy jokes right now?
This is what it says. You need an estimate from your barber before you get a haircut. The biggest fashion risk you take is which plaid you'll wear to the 4-H fair.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God.
Where do you stand on Jeff Foxworthy as a comedian?
I respect all comics, just not my cup of tea.
Sure.
You know, there's. Yeah. I mean, Seinfeld. Don't care. I don't care for him.
Love the show. Don't really like him as a comic. Yeah.
You know, it's not my. But George Carlin, love him.
What's funny is that I respect him and what he's done. I don't find him that funny, if that makes sense.
Totally, because I mean, it's all subjective of what you like. Yeah. Some people love the redhead. That what is his name? God, I am awful. Jesus. Thank you. Some people love Carrot Top. I'm like, I can take it or leave it.
Yeah.
I don't hate him, but I'm just like, you know.
Like, there are certain lines of his that, like, I love, but in terms of, like, I can't really quote him as much as I can quote someone like John Mulaney or Patton Oswalt, where, like, it's really baked into me. You know? Like, I can get the first few lines of a Modern Man, but that's it. Digital and smoke-free. Okay, where were we?
Needless to say, Dell looking him dead. Needless to say, Dell looking him dead in the eye while jerking him off was really fucking hot. He licked his lips, and Marty almost died. So the obvious next step was, of course, to grab his boss by the back of the head and crash their mouths together again. Several minutes of borderline vicious making out later, Dell pulled back and grinned. You know what I like so much about men, Marty? Now that just sounded Italian.
I was getting more like a Dracula, like an Eastern European accent out of it. I want to suck your cock. What?
Marty breathed out a no and returned to biting Dell's throat, hands massaging his ass. His boss sighed in pleasure, free hand coming up to the back of Marty's head in encouragement as he tipped his head to the side to give him more room. Quite a lot, actually. First of all, I don't have to be gentle. He exhaled harshly as Marty bit particularly hard at the juncture of his neck and shoulder. I would never treat my darling wife like this. Love her to death, but who just doesn't like a bout of seriously rough sex every now and again? I just won't be as rough as I'd like with her. I respect her too much for that. But what if she wants it?
Exactly.
When you're cheating on your significant other, do you just tell the person you're cheating with about about the person you're cheating on?
You'd have to ask someone who cheats, and obviously none of us do.
So. I could give you a number for somebody that would probably know.
Yeah, me too.
Same. It's just like all three of us are like,
I'll give you a number.
Okay, how about like when you're making out with somebody, you don't go, my ex had like really nice boobs. That's not gonna come up. Why would you tell them?
You'd be
really?
surprised.
Yeah, you never know.
Well, you say what things worked and what things didn't work in your previous, relationship, and part of that is what your sex life is.
Sure, but not during sex.
That's true. That's fair.
Like, this morning, this girl I'm seeing, we were talking about, like, what was the most awkward sexual experience you ever had, right? And mine is, I was seeing a girl, and I was about to go down on her, and the fire alarm in her building went off.
That's a warning sign if I ever heard one.
Yeah, she broke it off like a week later. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, okay, that's fine.
That was a sign from the divine.
Yeah.
Stay away.
Yeah. And she was like, I don't know, I dated a guy who had like no rhythm. So instead of going like 1, 2, 3, 4, he's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like just didn't have any rhythm to it. She apparently would put music on to try and get him to
Have some rhythm.
have some rhythm, but he didn't have any rhythm to begin with. So it's like the Seinfeld episode where Elaine can't dance. It's
Oh no.
My, that is
sweet
hilarious.
fancy Moses. How about you
Oh,
guys? What's your
God.
most awkward?
Oh, where do I begin? I have to think. You can go ahead. I don't know.
I didn't have a lot of like baseline awkward. It's just bad experiences. Like that guy I dated who thought his cock would magically heal me from having trauma from
I
being
forgot
raped.
about magic healing cock.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
We had sex once and he was like, "Oh, you're good now, right? You're all better, right? It's not going to be a thing anymore, right?" And I was like, "That's not how PTSD works."
wow! What a douche.
I broke up with him after
Good.
that.
Yeah,
As you
good.
should have. If only there were magic healing dildos. How nice would that be? Like an RPG, you can buy them at a shop and it magically heals your
Your mental illness, yeah.
illness.
Wow.
You got any? Lane?
I'm seriously. I know I do. I just
Or just think of like any of them. Any one
any.
that sticks out.
That's the thing. It's not right now. Let me get back to you on that.
Okay. Let's keep going then.
Okay. In the meantime, Marty hummed and ground his boss's cock down harder against his thigh, drawing out the first legitimate moan he'd heard from him. Then all the normal things you like about someone: body, hair, love, kissing men with beards, love it. You ever have someone with a beard suck your cock, eat you out? Fucking phenomenal.
I don't know. From women I've gone down on, it's either like this is awesome or like, would you consider shaving? Which I won't.
I personally think it's terrible. So that's just my cup of tea. Just
Where do
please
you lean
shave
on the beard.
all the time.
It can be rough. It can be rough, but it all depends. Sometimes I've been with dudes that put on conditioner and it's very soft. So
Interesting.
I've heard that's a thing that
I
can
haven't thought
happen.
about
Like
that.
a good beard conditioner.
I should try conditioner. That'd be.
and if it's trim, very trim.
Yeah, I trim mine
That's-
because it starts growing into your mouth, which
Yes,
is
that's gross.
super weird.
Yeah. And food gets in it.
Yeah, that's
Just trim so your lips are shown.
yeah.
Yeah.
He pulled his head away from his neck and kissed him hard for a moment, hand squeezing at Marty's cock. The next bite.
Okay.
he was-
I know it's when I hear squeezing at Marty's, you stroke it. You don't squeeze it. This makes it sound like he's doing
Hey.
honk honk. Like
Some people like that. I'm just saying.
nothing like constricting the blood flow to my penis. Awesome. Ugh. Pass.
You're not Marty. Don't
I'm
kink
not
shame
gonna.
him.
I'm just. The mental image makes me sad.
But the thing I love most about men is that they know their way around a cock. Now that I always thought was a thing. Like guys, I mean, we have to learn how to deal with penises over time. Ideally, we have someone who's willing to communicate and tell us what
Yeah,
they
it is
want.
nice.
But we still do
It
have
is
to learn.
nice when they communicate.
That's a two-way street, by
so
the
nice.
way.
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
No, the worst is like when I'm eating a girl out and I have to like play hot or cold. I'm like, okay, do I go down here? No, that's not doing anything. And just give me a faster, slower, this way, that way, something.
What's even frustrating is when you do tell them what to do, they don't do it. That is
Oh,
frustrating.
that's the
and
worst.
it's like, oh, okay, I got one for you. So there was a guy that kept on telling me I was going out with, and he kept telling me on how he always took care of his women he was with. All of his past girlfriends, they're all happy. Well, after the third time of being in the sack and not being happy myself, I finally go, dude, you're happy, obviously. Can you kind of help me out? He didn't. Hence.
Oh
Yeah, because you're bragging so much about how your women are all taken care of. In what department? Because you're not doing it in the bedroom. Maybe you shouldn't brag and talk about it so much and think you're so great because you suck at it.
Yeah, you don't tell them that to their face.
Because when they usually
Yeah.
do that, it means they're the opposite.
Yeah.
They're not great in bed.
Well, because okay, I am terrible at the sex part. But when I was 14, my friend Natalie wrote me a how to eat pussy guide, complete with diagrams.
Wow.
Yeah. Shout out to Natalie. Actually, Elliot. Shout out to Elliot, who gave me this guide, and then my sister came across it like 2 years later. She's like, "What the fuck is that?" I was like, "Oh, Elliot wrote me this guide."
Wow.
And then I said the worst thing you could have said. I was like, "Is it accurate?" And my sister goes, "Yeah, it's accurate." Here, just laugh.
That's hilarious.
This is something that all people born with penises should be handed.
They should
when they're
during sex ed
15 years
class.
old.
There should be a how to eat pussy class.
But from the person you're going to be eating, because not everybody, I don't dig the ABCs on me, okay?
Yeah.
I like other things.
There's still like, it's like a basic guide. It's not
Basic guide,
yeah.
yes. Okay, I can go with that.
Yeah, a basic guide, and then also consent is important, and please communicate with your partner. It needs to be emphasized in that because they're like, this is our basic guide, but like also you can ask for other things or request things and make sure that everyone's on board, and that would be great.
The point is, I'm really bad at the actual humping part, so I try and get all the work done during third base.
Nice man. Thank you.
So the actual humping, I can just relax and enjoy myself. Whether or not that gets accomplished varies from person to person, but I'm trying my best here.
That's all you can do.
And exactly. All right.
Okay. Anybody?
A few twists of his.
Got a cigarette?
Yes.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
A few twists of his wrists on the upstroke had Marty's vision going dark around the edges. Is that normal?
No.
Dark around the edges?
Okay.
I don't think so. I think things are starting to get light.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. Because your pupils get, they expand.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Unless he still is like choking Marty out, if that's what's happening.
Oh,
possibly.
Maybe. Could be. He trailed off into soft Spanish, none of which Marty understood.
Mío.
Sure, he could stumble. Yeah, because nobody knows what that means. Sure, he could stumble his way through a conversation on a good day, but during sex, caps lock H-A, ha, end brackets, period. Marty looked his boss in the face. You want to be rough? Then be rough. Del grinned and kissed him hard enough to nearly split his lip. Marty pulled a hand out of the back of Del's pants to get one on his cock, only to have his hand smacked away. They continued in that fashion for a good long while. Del's hand just this side of too dry and too tight. Oh, that sounds terrible. And I don't even have a dick, so his cock ground hard into Marty's thigh as they kissed just this side of too rough. When Del broke the kiss, he grabbed Marty by the hair and yanked his head back.
Just this side of his neck. If he's going to keep using that phrase, just this side of blank.
Just this side of his hair. Come for me, my brilliant advisor, come for me. Easy enough request. Maybe he liked rough sex every now and again, so what? Del was off him, straightening his clothes before Marty could even begin to think straight again. In brackets, interesting choice of words. So, it's the author calling themselves out. You didn't, Marty panted. Del looked at him with a raised eyebrow, cheeks still flushed, red, and pupils blown wide with arousal. You didn't come. No. Still out of breath, Marty gestured to the obvious tent in the front of Del's pants. Want a hand with that?
I feel like his boxer briefs aren't doing enough. If there's like an obvious tent in his pants still. Like, if you get a boner in jeans or corduroys, whatever, there's at least some restraint to it. It's not
a tent.
A tent, yeah.
He's wearing slacks, though.
Oh.
Polyester.
I'm assuming.
Linens. Linen, because they're probably in Mexico. Who knows?
Oh.
Somewhere tropical.
Right.
Yeah. Just do the flip tuck if that's how it's going to be. Oh, right. So
What?
you if you have an uncomfortable boner, you flip it upwards and tuck it into the waistband of your pants, which cuts off blood flow, kills the boner enough to where it's not a problem.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just learned something. Who knew?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it actually stop you from being turned on, or does it just get rid of the
Depends on
boner?
what's going on. Yes or no.
Okay.
Like, if it's one of those morning boners, yeah, it takes care of it pretty easy. But if it's like you're actively being aroused, then it's just going to be like a negative feedback loop where it kills it enough to like not have you aroused, but it's your body's still trying to get aroused, so it keeps it in place.
It's like time stands still moment.
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of.
Got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it. Okay.
Okay. Want a hand with that? Do you want to give me one? This man was by far the most confusing person Marty had ever worked with. I find it rather rude to leave my partner unattended. He'd be a tad embarrassed about it later, but honestly, in that moment, Marty was so blissed out he would have given him a hand, sucked him off, and maybe done one or two other things had he been asked. But instead, Deck started walking away
Nice
with a K.
typo. Deck.
Yes. This night was too much. Am I supposed to follow you? Marty called after him. If you want, Dell answered without stopping or turning around. But I think your wife might be wondering what's keeping you. And with that, he was gone. I feel like Dell's wife knows what's going on. Like,
oh yeah, she knows.
She's the one who's dressed in the maid outfit, looking,
right.
peeking in and watching.
And then he gets caught, and Dell's like, "Was that wrong?
Yeah.
Should I not have done that? I got to tell you, if this was frowned upon, I would, if I was told beforehand."
That's hilarious.
I think we'll leave the story here. There's more to it, but that was like a nice chapter break with Dell and Marty making out with each other. Lang, what'd you think?
Interesting. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Any advice on how to punch it up?
I like what you were saying is that bring in the third person that's watching. I want a third person.
Okay.
Involved.
Something. Chris, how about you?
I'm down with that. Yeah, I think there should be at least one other person watching. Perhaps like both of the wives like catch them and then like have their own thing going on.
There you go. Okay.
That's some real smut right there. I was just gonna say keep track of your hands because they kept having hands like move.
Yeah.
And,
It was a little confusing.
Anyway,
it was.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Bad reading. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Not that way.
This is the most social I have ever been.
That's how that works.
This is nice.
Where can people find you on social media out there?
Langcomedy.com, Lang's World 2012 and Instagram.
Guess how old the account is.
Exactly. And I don't do. I do Twitter once in a while, and Facebook here and there. I'm on Facebook, but I got to draw the line. I don't do the TikTok and the what. I just can't. No, I'm not. I draw the lines.
How that is sometimes.
You know, I can't do all of them unless I have like a team, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to pay somebody to do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Chris, how about you? Where can people find you?
Twitter at @stolen_relic, same hashtag. I mean, same name. On Instagram.
And then you can find me at Atlas Novak, Twitter, Instagram, or you can find this show at Bad Reading Pod on Twitter, Instagram. Give us a like, review, comment, whatever do viral thing you're supposed to do. I don't know how any of this works. Anyway.
Me neither.
Go watch Ozark because you're all stuck inside like the rest of us anyway. Wash your goddamn hands and have a good night, everybody.
Woohoo!